nothing. The spirit, Tao, of the greatest creator and the universe are inseparable, just as the earth and life are intertwined. The human body's organs, blood and marrow, sensory organs, hair, and consciousness are also interconnected as a whole. The greatest creator has never engaged in direct conversations with any individual in human-created languages. However, this does not mean that the greatest creator is distant from humanity. The greatest creator is constantly in dialogue with humans, but the form of communication is not through our human languages. Instead, it occurs through the language of the greatest creator. All things in the natural world are the language of the greatest creator, and all phenomena in nature are the utterances of the greatest creator. The sun, moon, stars, rivers, lakes, oceans, wind, clouds, rain, snow, humans, animals, birds, insects, trees, flowers, mountains, rocks, and the earth itself are all the language of the greatest creator. The movements of celestial bodies, the rushing of rivers, the roaring of the sea, the changing of weather, the falling of rain and snow, the shifting of seasons, the growth and decline of living beings, including the chirping of insects, the calls of birds, the shouts of humans, the neighing of horses, earthquakes, floods, thunderstorms, and lightning are all the speech of the greatest creator. Everything that humans perceive through their eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body is the language and speech of the greatest creator. To understand the language of the greatest creator and comprehend his speech, one cannot rely solely on sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. It requires spiritual perception, but spiritual perception alone is not enough. Wisdom is also necessary. Without spiritual perception, we will never understand the language and speech of the greatest creator, and without wisdom, we will never grasp what the greatest creator is saying. Having spiritual perception alone without wisdom, we can only sense the presence of the greatest creator but cannot accurately understand the workings of the greatest creator's spirit, Tao. In other words, we may only know that we are destined to live and destined to die, but we are unclear about the reasons why we exist and why we must face death. This is referred to as knowing the what, but not knowing the why. Having wisdom alone without spiritual perception, we cannot truly perceive the existence of the greatest creator. We can only rely on accumulated human knowledge, experience, lessons, rigorous logical reasoning, and scientific experiments to uncover some mysteries of the universe, nature, and life. In other words, we may understand why we live and why we die, but we cannot comprehend the ultimate reasons behind the necessity of life and death. This is referred to as knowing the why, but not knowing the what. With the exception of a very small number of individuals who possess both spiritual perception and wisdom, generally speaking, religious figures have spiritual perception but lack wisdom, while scientists have wisdom but lack spiritual perception. The majority of the general population, who fall between these two categories, lack both spiritual perception and wisdom. They merely exist blindly, living their lives without a clear sense of purpose. The chapter of Revelations is the divine revelation given to me by the greatest creator. Before completing the chapters on unconventional thinking, the greatest creator, universe, time and Jesus warned me, do not give holy things to dogs, nor cast pearls before swine. Swine. The Buddha enlightened me. Speak for the Mahayana practitioners. The spirit of Laozi advised me, Tao, when obtained by a noble person, becomes the foundation of their self-cultivation, while when obtained by a petty person, it is treated lightly and without reverence for life. What should I do? I must heed the admonitions of gods, Buddhas, and immortals. However, in the vast sea of humanity, it is impractical for me to individually seek out noble individuals who practice the Mahayana path. Moreover, time is limited, and I don't have much time to patiently guide each person. Therefore, I have no choice but to follow the doctrine of the mean and adopt a middle path. I will conceal the mysteries and secrets beneath the surface of phenomena, only hinting at them. This way, Those who possess spirituality and wisdom can see beyond the surface, transcend the vastness, and more easily discover the gems and gold beneath the earth's surface. As for the rest of the people, they will be like what Jesus said, though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In addition to Revelations and the other mentioned chapters, there is another chapter in Life of Genuine called the Preaching of the Tao. This chapter is entirely different from the Tao Te Ching, and it can be said without exaggeration that the wisdom contained in the preaching of the Tao far surpasses that of the Tao Te Ching. For instance, when it comes to beings who are destined for or already in hell, Jesus' attitude is, lest they repent and be forgiven. On the other hand, in Buddhism, Bodhisattva Ksitigarbha vows, I vow to save all sentient beings in the world, and I will not enter the Elysium world until hell is empty. Who is right and who is wrong? Whose guidance should we ultimately follow? Preaching of the Tao specifically addresses such challenging questions. However, the timing is not ripe at the moment. Only when Life Genuine is widely accepted by all human beings can preaching of the Tao be shared openly. It is similar to constructing a building where exquisite chandeliers cannot be hung until the main structure is completed. Laozi said, when the highest type of followers hears Tao, the truth, they try hard to live in accordance with it. When mediocre types hear Tao, they seem to be aware and yet unaware of it. When the lowest types hear Tao, they break into loud laughter. If it is not laughed at, it is not Tao. Regarding the chapter of Revelations, those who understand will discern its true essence, while those who do not will merely spectate. Apart from that, I have nothing else to discuss.
人生需要一条跑道。
Life needs a track. Xiefeng. February 27th, 2007. Edited by Kayer. Many talented people living among us appear to be mediocre, not because they are of low intelligence or are not gifted, but because they have either not found their own tracks or they have taken the wrong ones. Everyone has unlimited potential, but the main reason for not having given play to their potential is not because they are born stupid or have insufficient mental skills, but because they have never found their best life track from start to finish. No matter how excellent an aircraft is, it will never fly if there is no runway, for an aircraft with no runway will never be more than a pile of metal. No matter how much potential an excellent sprinter or long-distance runner has, his or her talents would remain buried without a racetrack, knowing not whether they are a mediocre horse or a swift horse until death. Life needs a track and battlefields. Business markets, officialdom, farms, and social realms all have lots of them. We must choose the track that best suits us, because it is only with the right track that we can give full play to our talents. Generals Eisenhower and Patton demonstrated their outstanding military talents because they had the track of war. But if there had been no tracks of war, who would even know their names? Zhu Jun, Yang Lan, and Ai Ping, and others have become the focus of millions of people, sparkling with brilliance, simply because they shared the track of television. Who would they otherwise be? Jet Li and Andy Lau rose to fame far and wide simply because of the track of movies. Throughout the history of Communist Party of China, many outstanding politicians, strategists, and diplomatic talents have emerged and many commoners became generals. It was because they took the track of the communist movement that they had brilliant lives. But without this track, their talents would have been drowned in life's ocean. Many people turned onto this track and formed the backbone of the state, and many others became millionaires or even billionaires because they took the business track after China's reform, when it opened up, and they gained much wealth. But what would their lives be like today without this track? Nobody knows. Many eminent Buddhist monks showed their superior wisdom because they followed the track of Buddhism. If you want to make something out of life, you must choose a track that suits your personality, because you cannot give play to your talents without the right track. Without the correct track, you will drown in the crowd. The internet is a track, and many people are shining with brilliance upon it, creating their own blogs and gathering their own social connections. A large number of authors, writers, critics, and practitioners are emerging on this track and are demonstrating their talents. You have to find your track, but if you do not see the proper one, you should build your own. Why? Because you will play better, be better at the game of life, and make your life more colorful. Do not pretend to be aloof and say that you are too good to engage in this because that would be finding excuses for your incompetence and failures. A soldier who does not want to be a general is never a good soldier. A life that does not want to have a glorious course is never a good life. If you want to make big money, be the boss. For being the boss is the track to making the most money, and if you want to be an official, build your social connections. For building social connections is the track to being an official. There are numerous tracks, and they are everywhere, but if you want to play your talents to the maximum, you will have to choose a track with infinite prospect. If you choose a good track, you can have a good life, but if you choose a bad track, you can only have a bad life. Zhang Guotao abandoned the track of the Communist Party and eventually, unknowingly froze to death. On the other hand, Deng Xiaoping stuck with the track of the Communist Party and eventually had his wishes fulfilled. If you choose polishing shoes, then you will unconsciously be on the track of polishing shoes. If you choose to steal, then you will unconsciously be on the track of crime. If you choose to reap without sowing, then you will, over time, get on a greedy, selfish, and parasite track. If you choose a mass movement, you will be on the track of confronting the government. If you choose life genuine, then you are naturally taking on the track of trekking and climbing to the highest realm of life and life. Which is the best track? It depends on you. You must choose your track completely on your own. The best track is one that you can follow for a lifetime. Tracks can be regularly replaced if they are not good, because some tracks have no futures and lead to dead ends with steep precipices. You will have to sharpen your eyes to think and judge. Some tracks seem narrow and bumpy at first, but the more you walk on them, the broader, brighter, and more brilliant they become, while others look broad, densely populated, and big. Yet the more you walk on them, the more your feet hurt, you become confused and frustrated, and the narrower and darker they become. If you have the ability to rule a country, the ambition to ride on top of the world, and have both superintelligence and indomitable willpower, then you had better build your own track. If you do not, then you can borrow others' ready-made tracks. For example, instead of creating your own blogs with few hits, you might want to promote your ideas and display your talents on another's website or bulletin board. Instead of creating your own website with painstaking care and precision, yet having no visitors, you might as well demonstrate your skills on someone else's websites. Once you have chosen your track, you must not give it up too easily, for giving up means failure. Remember, 1,000 sails pass by the shipwreck and 10,000 saplings thrive beyond the withered tree. No one will sympathize with you if you fail. At most, they will express regrets and pity. Once you find that your track has no future, you must give it up as soon as possible and try to blend onto the track with the most brilliant prospects at once, because if you bite the bullet and play hard, you will only miss your opportunity and then grieve it for a lifetime. Remember, the earth will rotate the same, with or without you. A life needs a track. As long as the route is right, you can stride ahead. I hope you follow your splendid life track.
人生的主次先后，轻重缓急。
Priorities, the order of importance and the emergence of life. By Xiefeng. From the long-term perspective, we know that each life lasts for only a fleeting moment. Regardless of how capable we might be, we are incapable of escaping our inexorable doom. How to spend this fleeting life is a question deserving our serious consideration and discussion. Look at life from the perspective of life. Life is only a journey, a flash of light in the infinite time and space of life. Since life is so transient, we need to explore the routes and risks of our journey. What kind of life is the most beautiful? As we are all people, we must first consider how to be people. The greatest creator of the universe, created us and meant for us to be people, not ghosts, devils, celestial beings, Buddhas, or gods. If we surrender our humanness to devote our life, time, and energy to becoming higher forms, then we are doing it against the will of the greatest creator. It is only when we first conduct ourselves as people living by the will of the greatest creator that we can hope to attain Buddhahood at the end of our life's journey. It is as if the boss of a company hires someone to be a clerk. The clerk's purpose is to dedicate his efforts toward his own duty, not to ask his boss to consider him to be a section chief, because it is only after he performs his clerk's duties well that the company boss should offer him the opportunity to be promoted to the position of section chief. The intent of the greatest creator in creating us is to enjoy life and not to make us suffer at all. Because for human beings, the greatest creator is love, great love. I do not worship men of the hour or heroes who gallop onto battlefields, nor do I worship those great people who are admired by the masses, or the ordinary people who become Buddhas and gods of the mortal world. I only pay tribute to ordinary, simple, honest, and hardworking people, because those people's lives conform to the way of being mankind. Those who sacrifice their present life pleasures to focus on grace after death do so against Tao. The moralization teachings that people can only obtain well-being after going through affliction and suffering definitely leads them astray. The preaching that asks people to cultivate achievements with intensity, regardless of their family responsibilities, in an attempt to attain special magical powers and arts to glorify the mortal world is questionable. Could it be the devil's temptation? The practice of hyping celebrities, successful figures, distinguished scientists, outstanding entrepreneurs, millionaires, experts, emperors, great men, and heroes will prove to be disturbing, causing people to crowd onto the single-plank bridge and to forget the meaning of life. The benevolent see benevolence, and the wise see wisdom. Life Genuine preaches that the ordinary life is the best life. Life's priorities and orders of importance and emergence should be as follows. The paramount thing in life is to revere the greatest creator, which mainly embodies reverence of nature and reverence of life. If we consider nature as appendages that can be arbitrarily spoiled, treat life, including animals, beasts, insects, fish, trees, flowers, and grass, as dirt, then we are defying and profaning the greatest creator. Our life is one of evil and is doomed to extinction, and we can no longer have a bright future. The first thing to consider and pursue in life is the beauty of the soul, rather than the accumulation of power, money, fame, and desirable people. If one's mind is not beautiful and their soul is dirty, then their life is bound to slip into hell, they are bound to keep company with devils and demons, and their life is a definite failure. The most important thing in life is to explore the mysteries of the universe and the meaning of life. The greatest creator always rewards the wise who have spiritual natures and wisdom and offers them wonderful spiritual enjoyment. If we affix our eyes only to the limited time and space, or even on meeting the needs of our lust, then we are bound to be lost and the water of life will evaporate. The most urgent questions in life are how to elevate the non-material structure of life, its spiritual nature, toward the development of higher life space directions, and how to sublimate our personalities and to perfect our spiritual natures. None of us know what will happen tomorrow. One certain thing is that our life structures will determine the life endings we will have. Everything in life should revolve around this point because if we die tomorrow, all that we own in the mortal world will be gone. All of our efforts will be in vain, and our precious lives will go wasted for nothing. I am talking about the great way of life. You may take time to think about this. Xiefeng is of no importance, but what is important is that life genuine can lead a person's life into an infinitely wonderful world.
寻找人生的最佳坐标系和坐标点。
Find the best coordinate system and the best coordinate points of life. Xiefeng, edited by Kayer. This article was inspired by the annotation to the Analects, Shui Er, verse I. Once the roots are established, the way will grow therefrom. Having roots is the way to be human and how to learn about the universe. If you understand how to be human, you can lay the foundation to understand about heaven and the earth. If you do not understand how to be human, it will be difficult to learn about heaven and the earth. What is the way to be human? In my humble opinion, we must first understand our place in the time and space of the universe. Namely, that you are neither God, Buddha, a celestial being, a ghost, a devil, nor a beast, but that you are a mortal human. Knowing that you are a human, you need to do human things, speak human words, take the human way, and seek human business. You should not do ghostly things, speak the God's words, take the devil's way, or engage in absurd businesses. How does one do human things? Show filial piety to your parents, respect your teachers and seniors, care for the young and lonely, help your siblings, show concern for your relatives and neighbors, show compassion to plants and insects, and protect the landscape and the environment. These are human things, and anything that is contrary to them is inhuman. How does one speak human words? Consider if others were in your place and speak respectfully. Do not spread unsubstantiated rumors. Help others to resolve their differences and bring them peace. Advise others to do good things and not to go astray. Motivate people to make progress and fight for their futures. How does one take the human way? Be committed to your own duties. Manage your household with diligence and thrift. Be studious and make progress. Cast off your destructive habits. Take only what is right for you. Study that which is worthy of being studied. Take only the way of Tao, and do nothing against righteousness. How does one practice human business? Engage in farming, forestry, industry, commerce, or politics. They are human businesses. Human business is the foundation of social stability, and it underlies the success or failure of the family and the state. People who actively participate in these endeavors and pursuits are doing human business. If it is not a human business, even if it can bring you much quick wealth, do not do it. How does one avoid doing ghostly things? By not being sneaky and afraid of being found out by victims or the legal system, doing things that are offensive to heaven and reason, cheating a superior or deceiving a subordinate, dishonoring one's parents, bullying the young and the weak, wrongly accusing and murdering the good and virtuous, insulting the sovereign, duping the ignorant, speaking ill of one's peers, bearing false witness, rebelling against the clan leader, taking credit for the work of subordinates by bullying them, seeking favor by flattering, disrespecting one's countrymen, disrupting state affairs, rewarding unjust acts, harming and implicating the innocent, slandering the saints and sages, undermining morality, filling the cave and covering the nest, harming conception and breaking eggs, stealing others' achievements, discrediting their good conduct, disclosing their indecent secrets, injuring their appearance, separating children from their parents, wasting other people's money and resources, engaging in illegal conduct, forcing young girls to prostitute themselves, damaging marriages, taking away people's beloved, harboring murderous hearts, blaming others, desecrating ancestral graves, destroying homes, deluding with heretical doctrines, bewitching minds, talking about ghosts and monsters, or by poisoning the spirituality. These are some of nearly 100 items enumerated in Life Genuine, Life and Life. How does one not speak the God's words? They are the words of gods in heaven and are unknown to those who have not attained Tao. And even those who have attained Tao must be very knowledgeable about the truths of the universe. It is not something that ordinary people can understand. If you do not know how to be human but speak the God's words, then you are either talking nonsense or you have lost your mind. Mind. How does one not take the devil's way? By not misleading living beings, pursuing special magic arts and powers, inciting to rebel, promoting tyranny, touting heroes, singing the praises of totalitarianism, teaching others not to do the things of ordinary people, and other heterodoxical doctrines. All these are the devil's ways. How does one not engage in diluted businesses? By not farming their own land but still expecting wealth to arrive, not working but scamming, not studying or learning but expecting to know, not attending to their own business but wanting everything, being the blade of grass that wants to be a flower, the flower that wants to be in the orchard, the tiger that wants wings, or the bandit who want to be a deity celestial being. All these are absurd businesses. If roots are not established, then everything will be void. But if roots are established, then everything will be done. First be a person, then be a lady or gentleman. After that, follow the examples of the saints and sages, and then pursue the way to become a deity celestial being. Alas, the secrets of the Great Way are hidden to most people, but they reveal themselves to those who are enlightened. After seeking the Great Way everywhere for 3,000 years, it still hides in narrow margins. Therefore, to be a human being is the best coordinate system and the coordinate points of life.
感恩升华生命的第一要素。
Gratitude, the first element of life's sublimation. Xiefeng. Deformities lack beauty and make us feel unutterably upset and irritable or even disgusting. This is not a man-made feeling, but an instinctive rejection response like a physical allergic reaction to certain substances. Those without gratitude have deformed life structures, and this is the reason why we dislike and even hate some people. Life is a non-material structure which can be either deformed and unbalanced or perfect and symmetrical. Lives with more perfect and symmetric structures live in higher spaces of life, while lives with more deformed structures live in lower ones. All animals have life structures which are less perfect than those of human beings, so they can only survive at animal levels, while humans with perfect human natures and standards are celestial beings and live in higher level spaces such as the 1,000-year world and the 10,000-year world because their life structures are superior to those of mortals and deities. It is like gases that exist at different levels of the atmosphere: the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere. Life's ultimate goal is to evolve into higher-level spaces of life which result from the sublimation of one's life. This sublimation of life means letting one's own life non-material structure transit into perfection. How does one transit? Gratitude. Who and what should we be grateful for? Here are 8 with reasons for each. Thank the greatest creator for giving us bright eyes to enjoy our beautiful universe with starry skies, rivers, lands, and all the trees and flowers. Ears to enjoy the splendid melodies of the nature. Love and affection between men and women to enjoy physical and emotional pleasures which are blissful slices of heaven. Who designed and created the free but invaluable air and rivers of pure water, and who allows our easy survival and reproduction. We are bathed in sunlight and moistened by rain and dew. So how could we not thank the greatest creator? Thank Jesus Christ for his favor when he came into the mortal world to atone for us with his precious life and brought hope to our suffering lives. Then thank Buddha, Muhammad, PBUH, and Lao Tzu for their favor. Their wisdom resolves our inner sadness, sublimates our humanity, maintains our human dignity, and gives us inexhaustible and precious spiritual values. Thank your parents for their kindness, who exerted tremendous effort to bring you up, whose love is so heavy that even a green mountain cannot carry it, and even time and space cannot extinguish it. Thank your children for the joy that they brought to you. Thank your friends and relatives for their encouragement, comfort, and help when you were in trouble. Thank your teachers for their hard cultivation. You see because you stand on their shoulders. Thank people with high ideals for drawing their swords and rendering help to you during emergencies. Thank your colleagues, classmates, and even strangers for their sincere praise and cooperation. Real happiness belongs to appreciative givers of thanks. Real light belongs to them, and bright futures belong to them. Those who are without gratitude, have no love in their hearts, never repent, are short of humanity, and only fall into the evil wallows of power, money, and fame, will never attain the chance to ascend to a higher space of life. It is by giving thanks daily that we can be bathed in the spirit of the greatest creator. Our life's non-material structure can ceaselessly evolve into perfection, and we can finally achieve the quality of becoming celestial beings. Comrades, learn gratitude. Even dogs know how to wag their tails to give thanks. Are we not as good as dogs?
真理，天启篇之57。
The Truth. Xiefeng. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Pontius Pilate, the powerful Roman governor, asked Jesus, "What is truth?" Jesus declared, "I was born for truth. I have come to the mortal world to give the truth. I have witnessed the truth. Hundreds of millions of people have sought and died for the truth. So what is truth?" Democritus, known to be the greatest ancient philosopher, said, "The truth is inscrutable." The most revered Socrates said, "What I really know is that I know nothing." The French philosopher René Descartes argued that only one undeniable truth exists. Ego cogito, ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. John Spall, governor of the Episcopal Church of the United States, said, "Absolute truth is something to which we may aspire, but that we can never attain." Influenced by Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, many people believe that truth is relative. Many religious organizations claim to be sole possessors of absolute truth. What is truth? Jesus said, "The Word of God is truth." Sakyamuni preached for 49 years. The core of his preaching was but one word, Tao. Lao Tzu mainly repeats one word throughout his Tao Te Ching, Tao. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, said, Allah's ruling is based on Tao, truth. Confucius, the great sage of the Chinese nation, thought intensely and sought the truth for a lifetime. He finally grasped the core of Tao as he sighed and said, "Having heard Tao in the morning, one may die content in the evening." Life Genuine tells people again and again to take the way of the greatest creator. Why is Tao so important? Because Tao is truth and the truth is Tao. Both are the same. That is the reason why God, Buddha, the prophets, celestial beings, and saints have attached such great importance to Tao. In other words, they told us to follow the truth. Truth is truth. There is no absolute truth or relative truth. Truth can be described in eight ways. Truth is not optional. Truth is oneness without ambiguity. Truth is eternal, so there is no truth in the past, present, or future. Truth can be known but cannot be made. Truth is what scientists try to reveal. Truth comes to the Chinese Zen masters, unspeakable but subtle metaphysics to be awakened in the mind. All religions profess to uphold the truth, but they actually contradict it. All parties appear to uphold the truth, but they actually oppose it. Everything in the universe, including humanity, floats in an ocean of truth. Truth has eight attributes: emptiness, universality, trust, reliability, naturalness, justice, kindness, uniqueness, eternity. Let us expand on each of these attributes. Emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form does not differ from emptiness. Form is emptiness, and its very emptiness is form. Whatever emptiness is, that is form. Form comes from emptiness, and emptiness is Tao, the truth. Universality. All visible objects in the universe, including all living beings, originate from Tao but are the metaplasia of Tao. This is to say that all manifestations of the universe are the embodiment of truth, so truth is everything. Trust, reliability, all the laws of nature are manifestations of truth. They exist and run without the will of mankind. All laws are of conservation, reliability, and dependability, so truth is trust. If one does not keep their word, but lies or breaks their word, they will be acting against the truth. Naturalness. Truth is natural and undoubtedly logical. When fruits fall off trees after they ripen, things are managed easily. Truth is true, not false. People can know it, but cannot create it, and we can neither add to it nor reduce anything from it. If a person or an organization controls themselves with importunity, then they will be acting against the truth. As to a person, regardless of their birth, age, health, or even after death, whether they are rich or poor, and no matter how high or low their status ever was, as long as they have led a natural life without importunity, then they have taken the way of truth. The dying who would rather live, the living who would rather die, the poor who are not content in their poverty, and the rich who are not content with their wealth all act against the truth. Justice. Truth is equal for all things and people, and does not favor anything or anyone, just as death and air are fair and equal to everything and everyone. This is to say that anyone, regardless of their religious faith or party affiliation, no matter whether they are a doctor or illiterate, whether they are a tycoon or poor, and no matter whether they are the president or a shepherd, is equal before the truth. Everyone has the same opportunity to learn the truth and to take the way of the truth. Kindness. We already know that truth is Tao, the consciousness and spirit of the greatest creator. Therefore, truth is alive. Those who come close to the truth will feel natural and cordial as if returning to their hometown from long ago, and will feel sure-footed, calm, and comfortable. Uniqueness. Truth is meticulous and unique. There is no near truth or semi-truth. 10,000 roads lead to the same and only truth, but never lead to thousands of truths. All roads may lead to Rome, but Rome is the one and only Rome. Eternity. Since Wuji generate Taiji, truth has existed eternally. Even if the earth and mankind were to disappear, truth would still exist. As long as there is truth, there is eternal life in the universe. The universe is filled with truth and with life. Life exists not only on Earth, but also elsewhere, only in different forms. The Encyclopedia of the United States says, "The truth is often revolting, for it neither supports prejudice nor follows rumor, so that which causes people disgust is against the majority view, and sets people away is most likely to be the truth. The gate of truth is narrow, and only a few will find it and pass through it. Truth can only be known to a few people, for it is lost to the boisterous and noisy. It is a priceless treasure and the top priority to seek, to know, and to respect in life, for anyone who does will attain eternal life and will reach the high-level life spaces such as the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, or the Elysium world. Just take time to comprehend.
走出心灵的埃及。
Out of the Egypt of the Spirit. Xiefeng. The ancient Israelites were delivered out of Egypt with God's help, out of slavery and into freedom. Egypt is defined as the land of slavery, and the believers could only rid themselves of slavery by going out from Egypt. Where is our real Egypt? It lies within our hearts. It is easy for the body to be out of Egypt, but it is much harder to discard it from the mind. We all suffer from the slavery of the Egypt of the Spirit in various degrees, and we lead our lives with the Egypt of the Spirit on different levels. You are a slave to your own Egypt of the Spirit because you have not felt the breath of the new era. An unimaginable era is coming. A wave of energy will reach from the universe to the earth. Its prediction has been shown. When this wave reaches the entire earth, only those who are out of the Egypt of the Spirit will be able to survive it, for their common frequency will resonate with it, and those who remain within the Egypt of the Spirit, those who cannot resonate with this wave, will completely disappear from the earth. I, Dayform Buddha, have come here to inform you, to give you this sacred inspiration, and to lead you out of the Egypt of the Spirit and into the new Life-Genuine era. You should never resist me, for the consequence of such resistance will be your death. I depend on divine power, the love of Jesus Christ for human beings, the profound wisdom of Sakyamuni Buddha, the great ideal of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, the profound and lasting meaning of Fairy Lao Tzu, and the great mercy of Mao Zedong, who tried to liberate all the poor people who suffer from oppression and deprivation at the bottom. They must all focus on me and came together to form a magnificent picture, a mysterious force which is the strongest and the softest dark energy in the universe, able to withstand all the sludge and turbidity that will lead the people out of the Egypt of the Spirit, but who are pleasing to the greatest Creator and who are into the new Life-Genuine era. I, Dayform Buddha, by the revelation of the greatest Creator, do face all earthly citizens equally today, regardless of your sect, party, organization, nationality, or race, whether you are a king, a president, a civilian, or a prisoner, and no matter what your magnificent feats or unforgivable sins in the past have been, will treat all of you equally. You have an equal opportunity to accept this information and to have an equal opportunity to be out of the Egypt of the Spirit. You must not resist me. Upon learning this information, you must think it over quietly, digest it carefully, and sensitize yourself deeply. I will take nothing from you, place no chains upon you, and force no compliance out of you. Instead, I will lead you out of the Egypt of the Spirit and into the new Life-Genuine era to enjoy the finest life with the maximum freedom. See the leaves falling. They should have felt the winter coming. See the willow becoming green by the river. It should have heard the footsteps of spring approaching. You do not have much time to waste. I want you to set all your inflexibility aside to no longer attack each other and to waste no more time trying to overthrow political parties and regimes. Do not adhere to the opinion that we are right, they are wrong, because you have to think about your future. You can keep to your beliefs and faiths, but at the same time, you need to master the new knowledge and the new information as soon as possible and never to regard your own belief and faith as the only correct one. You must also not hold the feeling of being able to offer salvation because you have neither enough wisdom nor enough energy. Not only do you not understand the non-material world, but neither can you make the correct judgment nor choice with what happens in your own home. Live on the eve of great changes, you should feel joy and happiness and neither fear nor worry because you have a chance to enter a new era by your own efforts. Do not blaspheme my words, for unhealthy words will hurt and eventually destroy you with a precision. But this is not me, for I am neither ego nor non-ego. The greatest classics are still the Bible, the Quran, the Buddhist scriptures, and the Tao Te Ching. You have to admire Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, PBUH, and Lao Tzu in your heart. Before you read these four classics, you had better not say more or judge anything because what you would say could never equal to their wisdom. What you would say would be nonsense before you understand these classics which run in the opposite direction. The majority of people skim across the surfaces of things. You do not see the colossal forces below that support the icebergs above, and you think you are performing deeds of merit. But the truth might just be the opposite and you are actually sinning. I believe that you possess kindness, but kindness without great wisdom will more often than not lead to bad results. Taiji Celestial, the living messenger of Jesus, teaches us how much you have known of Tao and how much you can preach. Never judge or comment on things of which you do not know. Do not be an apologist, but be a preacher. Do not use any of these sentences or paragraphs to threaten or intimidate others, or you might be threatening and frightening yourself unless you can answer a series of questions from others. Family, nationality, race, party, and religion are the Egypt of the spirit. So you must walk out and just keep the greatest creator and your parents as your sacred territory. Do not rack your brains for your own family, nationality, party, race, or religion. It is helpless. It will not benefit humanity and is selfish behavior. These things will not exist in the coming Life-Genuine era. Do not sacrifice for things that are about to disappear. You need to have the courage to fail, to forgive the people who hurt you, and to make your mind up to surrender the mindset of a vengeful and hateful attitude. This kind of attitude is helpless in the sublimation of your life quality, but it will distort your soul and evolve the structure of your life into false, ugliness, and evil. As a conclusion, even trotting our enemies under our feet and killing them is helpless for the evolution of our spirits toward truth, kindness, and beauty. If people do not forgive others, but just want to satisfy their vanity, get some small psychological satisfaction, and have revenge followed by more revenge, the whole human psyche will be trapped in a vicious cycle and never find peace. The greatest creator is pleased by people who revere him. Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad, peace be upon them, were fond of their loyal disciples, and I, Dayform Buddha, also like those who can be my friends, and I am willing to give the visas of life to those who are willing to be my friends. These visas of life sound ridiculous at first and seem to be nonsense, however. Have you ever considered that life is a kind of non-material structure? If our spirit is sensitive enough, we can enter sesame seeds and go forward negative 10,000 kilometers to its center, and we can understand the meanings of life to see its structure. Quantum mechanics and string theory cannot explain the true meaning of life. Einstein and generations of master of scientists have tried to establish a unified field theory, but they have all ultimately failed. The reason is that they never understood the structure of non-material. What kind of life you lead depends on the attitude that you keep. It was said by Taiji Celestial that your state of life depends on your mode of thinking. Although this is true, it is not profound philosophy. It is reasonable and is easy to understand. Understand that you are able to understand the full meaning of the visas of life. The visas of life are kinds of non-material that will be directly embedded into the structure of the non-material substance of your life. Speed up the evolution for the structure of your life to be perfect and symmetrical, put colorful halos around the structure of your life, and protect you in your race along the space tunnel toward the high-level space of life. The soul is total existence, non-material without weight. Bodies will die, but souls will never die. The soul goes through the universe at negative relativistic speed, but man does not understand this. The moment you die, you will become aware that you are not dead, but that you have only abandoned your body as your life carrier, but have taken on board another life carrier to begin a new life voyage. When I say that one who remains in the Egypt of the spirit will disappear from the earth, I do not mean that their life will end, just their life on earth. You will have no chance to enjoy the sun, the sea, white clouds, or blue skies. You will bid farewell to your loved ones, and you will never see them again. You do not understand this now, and it is only at the moment of death that you will, however, it will be too late by then, and your regret will be eternal. Every word in this article is true. You can validate them from the perspectives of religion, classical thought, science, telepathy, from the perspective of logical reasoning, and from all the facts that can be found. It is not only your good fortune to learn the content of this article, it is also your destiny, and I am very glad for you. If you are willing to understand something special, be grateful to the greatest creator. All glory goes to the greatest creator and none goes to Deiform Buddha. And if you share or discuss this information with others, you must always pay tribute to the greatest creator, but never to Deiform Buddha. It would be blasphemous to deify Deiform Buddha, for you and all others would be led astray. If you are offended by this article and think it is heresy, you are innocent. Never doubt the word of the greatest creator, but place all the blame to me. I accept all the responsibility for it and for all who accept it. From where it has come to where it returns. It is demanded that once you read this article, you must pass it on to others without omitting a single word. You may print it or send it as email, but never keep it to yourself. Never cut off the lifeline to other people. If you were to do that, you would have to pay a high price for the lives of others, for this is a curse. If this article is true, you will achieve merit and virtues for spreading it. But if it is evil, you will be held as blameless and without harm for sending it out in its entirety. If you can repost this article onto other websites or even publish it in newspapers or magazines, it would elevate your merit and virtues absolutely. One day you will understand the benefits of the merit and virtues. Why not just lift a finger and do it? A slight error in thought may lead to either paradise or to hell. We hope that everybody will escape from the disaster and enter into the new Life-Changuan era.
最小阻力原则
Taking the principle of least resistance. Xiefeng. A watermelon that is picked violently will not be sweet, and a person acting under duress does not perform efficiently. Rowing a boat down a river is better than sailing up against the current, and buying a needle is better than grinding an iron rod into one. Enjoying hardships is better than struggling against them. So rather than forcing yourself to fight, you should just submit and relax. Cleaning the earth is better than terraforming Mars. Strengthening a nation is better than building the Great Wall. Dredging smoothly is better than preventing forcibly. Feeding a dog is better than training a pig to become one. And singing the praises of the living is better than flattering the dead. Use your head to create knowledge, rather than to defend dogma. Using local materials makes more sense than importing them from across the ocean, but if none are available, it is better to move to another place. Obey nature and swim with the tide because everything changes, and do not store rotten apples. When the east is dark, the west will be bright. If it is dark in the south, there will be light in the north. People who were not raised here have obviously been raised over there. Change with the opportunity and take things as they come. Never complain about poverty when you are safe and well-fed. Never miss having meat when you have bread. Little birds that prefer to nest in the woods do not need to take to flying lessons from swans. One whose heart is not content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. An inflated desire will cause trouble, but a mind without material desire will remain calm. Ambition to fame may cause bitter revile. No diamond, no porcelain work. There is no need to force one to learn to play the piano if they were not born to love its music. It is vain to dream of singing beautifully without being able to carry even a simple tune. Never mind when you are reviled as bullshit. There is no need to be modest when you are praised as an expert or master. The flower blooms today, but protect its leaves or it will wilt tomorrow. It would be awful to miss the blooming season, for it will be lost when winter comes. You are loved and appreciated. That is a God-given opportunity, so why be cold and distant? The time to achieve your dream with God's blessing is when you are regarded as a sage or saint. So take advantage of the opportunity to realize a glorious life. Do not eat meat on the table, but chew the bones under it. Leave the awarded honor, but go through hardship. Being a crouching tiger with talent, but without carrying a load or playing a role, one will be a pile of broken bones to their death. Butterflies are pretty sights as they fly freely, but a buried gemstone is no better than the soil. People cannot stay pretty for 1,000 days and flowers cannot remain beautiful for 100. Although fine cellared wines exude beautiful fragrances, they are of no use until they are consumed. Drink as we have wine today and never plan for the following 1,000 years. Tsunamis and earthquakes might happen at any time, so who knows how long we will enjoy our lives. Value what you have. Anything that is easy to gain is actually a gift from the greatest creator. If there is a faucet in the house, why dig a well miles away? Treasure what is coming to you without rejection, but never waste your life daydreaming. If there are many hardships and troubles in that which you are engaged in, you must have misunderstood life. God punishes infatuated people, and hell serves for flaunting people. So why not lead the easy life? Great events are determined by Tao, not by people who do not even understand themselves. The best life can be led by acting along Tao. Wasting a God-given opportunity is acting against Tao. Gangsters should be ruled by demons, but sages should be led by saints. Whether evil or a sage depends on Tao. Speak words to people, talk ghostly when you meet ghosts, keep silent when you meet monsters, chirp and tweet with birds, howl with wolves, describe your aspirations when meet your soulmate, eat when you hunger, void when you must, but never complain to others if you made yourself starve or withheld waste. Buddha guides people with predestination and soulmates can be found in Life Genuine. It is sad to have layers between hearts. Melons are just melons while apricots must be apricots. Everything depends on the telepathy. If melons want to be apricots or apricots want to be melons, the program will be out of order and the goals cannot be realized. Taking the principle of the least resistance, life will be smooth.
麻将混沌与中华文化。
Mahjong, holography, and Chinese culture shuefeng. The root of Chinese culture is holography, or rather, the major vein of Chinese culture is holographic culture rather than Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. Holographic culture completely conforms to the Tao of the greatest creator. However, to be chaotic also means disorder, thus it is difficult to accurately express the meaning of the way of the greatest creator. So I regard the root of Chinese culture as the holographic culture. Many Chinese intellectuals have written articles calling for the renaissance of Chinese culture. After reading their articles, I feel bewildered and ask them in writing, which part of the Chinese culture do you want to revitalize? Not one of them can give me a definite answer or explanation. This shows that those who want to revitalize Chinese culture only have a good wish, but do not really understand what Chinese culture is. Chinese culture is actually holographic culture, and the renaissance of Chinese culture means the renaissance of holographic culture. The cultural primogenitor of the Chinese nation is Fuxishi, whose main contribution to culture is Hechiluo Book and the Eight Diagrams. Taiji, the Eight Diagrams, Book of Changes, Liujia, Jiuxing, and Feng Shui in traditional Chinese culture all are derived from him. Hechiluo Book is also the origin of the theory of main and collateral channels and acupuncture point in traditional Chinese medicine, and the origin of Book of Changes, Feng Shui, Yin and Yang, and the Five Elements, the 8 characters about one's birth, Zaiwei de Shu, the selection of auspicious dates, divination, and necromancy. What Hechiluo Book expresses is a holographic phenomenon, Fuxishi's telepathy between man and heaven, and the scene of the universe resulting from the unity between man and heaven. The connotation of holographic phenomenon is the hologram of the universe. It's so expansive that nothing is excluded, and it can also be so small that nothing can be included. Every phenomenon and everything has a hologram telepathy with the universe. There is nothing independent of a thing, and no phenomenon independent of a phenomenon. To put it more vividly, the fluttering of wings by a butterfly in Alaska of America can trigger a storm in the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. A coughing by an Eskimo in the Arctic region may induce the fall of an Australian from a building. When interpreting the thinking of mankind, I discover that the most profound thinking is holographic thinking, which is followed in order by non-form thinking, Taiji thinking, visualized thinking, elusive thinking, and the like. The Confucian thinking is the material thinking, the lowest level of thinking. Taoist thinking is Taiji thinking. Buddhist thinking is non-form thinking. The Western thinking based upon science and technology is image thinking and associative thinking. The currently prevailing thinking of the new era, for example, Seth's thinking, conversation with God, the law of one, the disappearance of the universe, A Course in Miracles, and so on, belongs to elusive thinking. The ultimate road that man will take is holographic thinking, or rather, mankind will inherit, carry on, and promote the holographic culture. We can get to know and understand the holographic culture from the four phenomena revelation, the 8 diagrams, Huzi, and Mahjong. Revelation means the observation of the astrological movement in the sky, the search of the law of the earth, and the study of animals and plants, the close examination of what is near and the speculation of what is far away. In one word, we can have a direct dialogue with the greatest creator. The revelation that I have written may serve as an introduction for others to come up with something more valuable. The 8 diagrams means that Wuji gives birth to Taiji, Taiji gives birth to Yin and Yang give birth to 4 signs, 4 signs give birth to 8 Gua gives birth to 64 Yao images, 64 E images give birth to every phenomenon in the universe. Once the changes of 64 E images are understood, it will be easy to understand the dialectical relations between changeable and unchangeable and understand the holographic principles. Huzi was the teacher of Lizi. Huzi could skillfully apply the holographic principles. By studying him, we can understand what holographic phenomenon means. Mahjong is a game popular among Chinese people. Do not disregard Mahjong, because it is really what holographic principle is about. A regular set of Mahjong has 136 pieces, consisting of 4 east, 4 south, 4 west, 4 north, 4 center, 4 fa, 4 white, 36 tiao, 36 bing, and 36 yuan. These pieces combine to form the astronomical numbers. Therefore, we can say that even if a person plays Mahjong every day all his life, he may never encounter a combination that is identical to any other combination or array. You feel as if lost in a maze. You may know things as they are, but do not know why they are so. It seems that everything is a matter of accident. There is no order to anything. Every time you play Mahjong, you hope for chance and luck, and are not sure whether you will win or lose. However, to be holographic is to be orderly. There are rules and laws to what is holographic. The rules and laws are meticulous and allow of no loopholes. What seems to be accidental and random is actually orderly and inevitable. People who play Mahjong all attach great importance to luck. If they win, they say they have good hand chi, luck. And if they lose, they say they hand chi is not good. What is hand chi? Everyone can have a try. If you do not have adequate sleep, if you are not in a good condition, or if you have had sex within the 24 hours, you will not have good hand chi. And the possibility for you to lose will be much higher than the possibility for you to win, unless other 3 people are in an even worse situation. Meanwhile, the direction you are facing and the 5 elements of all the players all have influence on whether you will win or lose. Therefore, if you want to win at Mahjong, you must maintain your vigor and good health and refrain from sex during the short period. If so, you are likely to enjoy good hand chi. Now the problem is, the combinations of astronomical numbers, which seem like a series of random occurrences, are actually closely in line with the hand chi of Mahjong players. If you do not have a good hand chi, you will lose the game no matter how well you can play it. This is where the holographic principles are working. Now let's take a look at these phenomena in the society. Many rich people and people who are good at making money actually have not received much education and do not work very hard, but they are very rich and can make much money. Many people in the officialdom do not have very high intelligence and are not so kind-hearted, but they have many opportunities and are promoted smoothly. On the other hand, many well-educated, intelligent, kind-hearted, and hardworking people are poor and cannot in any way have any opportunity for a promotion. And the secret is the holographic principle. One may fall victim to his own cleverness by outsmarting himself. Why? This is because of holographic principle. Mr. Zhang Baosheng, who is most accomplished in special skills in China, has not received very high education, but his thinking is in a holographic state. And this is the secret. The more concepts one stuffs in his head, the less holographic he will be. The more moral principles one stuffs in his head, the less holographic he will be. The more knowledge one has and the more reasons one understands, the less holographic he will be. The more rules one masters, the less holographic he will be. The more one pursues, the less holographic one will be. How can we be more holographic? Lao Tzu told us to return again to the innocence of baby. Jesus Christ asked us to become like a small child. Zhang Sanfeng told us that to obey is to be immortal, to disobey is to be an immortal. The matter is always shifting between obeying and disobeying. Buddha teaches us to stay away from all forms, let our minds abide nowhere, which is the highest Buddhist principle. The way of the greatest creator is the way of holography. What Life Genuine conveys is holographic information and holographic principles, and what Life Genuine is doing is building holographic culture and revitalizing the root culture of China and the most quintessential culture of China. This is infinitely profound and very interesting.
石墨和金刚石结构给我们的启示。
A revelation from the structure of graphite and diamond. Xiefeng. Graphite is an allotrope of carbon, a transitional crystal among covalent crystals, metal crystals, and molecular crystals. In crystals, the same layers of carbon atoms form covalent bonds by sp2, trigonal, hybridization. Each carbon atom connects with 3 others, and 6 of them form a regular hexagon ring on the same plane and stretch to form laminated structures. These carbon atoms in the same plane also have p orbits, which overlap with each other to form delocalized electrons that can move freely in crystal lattices and can be motivated. That is, the graphite has metallic luster which can conduct heat and electricity. Due to the large distances between the layers, and with small bonding forces, they have soft and creamy textures, are gray-black, opaque, and solid. They have a density 2.25 G/cm3, a melting 0.3652 degrees Celsius, a boiling 0.4827 degrees Celsius, and a Mohs scale hardness of 1. The chemical properties are stable and corrosion-resistant, and not very reactive with acid, alkali, or other chemicals. When burned in oxygen at 687 degrees Celsius, it will produce carbon dioxide. It can be oxidized by strong oxidizing agents such as concentrated nitric acid or mineral chameleon. It can be used as an anti-scuff agent and as a lubricant. Highly pure graphite can be used as a neutron moderator in nuclear reactors and can be used in the manufacture of crucibles, electrodes, electric brushes, dry cell batteries, graphite fibers, heat exchangers, coolers, electric arc furnaces, arc lamps, pencil lead, and much more. Diamonds are allotropes of carbon atoms which are typical covalent crystals. The carbon atoms form 4 sp3 hybrid orbits which connect to each other with covalent bonds. Each carbon atom is in the center of a regular tetrahedron formed by 4 other carbon atoms associated with it, forming a crystal, and the entire crystal can be regarded as a giant molecule. These crystals belong to cubic systems and are usually in forms with 8 faces. The purest quality ones are colorless, transparent, strong, and lustrous, but impurities will make them appear blue, sky blue, light yellow, red, or black. Their density is 3.15-3.53 G/cm3. Their melting point is 3550 degrees Celsius, and their boiling point is 4827 degrees Celsius. With a Mohs scale hardness of 10, they are the hardest of all materials. They are non-conductive and appear pale blue fluorescent under ultraviolet light. They do not react with most chemical agents, and can be burned in oxygen at 777 degrees Celsius to produce carbon dioxide. Transparent carbides are known as diamonds after they have been carved and polished and are luxurious ornaments. There are few diamond minerals in nature. Diamonds can be made artificially, such as with graphite, subjected to high temperatures, high pressures, and catalyzing agents. What revelation can we obtain from the above data? Graphite and diamonds both consist of carbon atoms, which means that the material of both is the same, but the differences of their molecular structural permutations lead to completely different physical properties. The most scale hardness of graphite is 1 while that of diamonds is 10. The extreme differences between the two lead to extremely different uses, and that is to say that for the same material, when its molecular permutations change, its material properties also change. This principle can be used in the management of the production, life, and human resources, and that is by the permutation and combinations of the managers. Perfect permutations and combinations will make teams like diamonds, with powerful and efficient managing ability. Conversely, if the team is like graphite, it will be weak, ineffective, and have poor managing efficiency. Graphite has free, radical electrons, while diamonds do not. This shows us the analogy that if one group consists of people with different faiths and viewpoints who act without coordination by their own free will, then it will lack cohesion, capacity, and have low efficiency and internal friction. Conversely, if the group is like a unified diamond, it will be invincible, capable of destroying any stronghold, and energy efficient. The same materials form different material properties because of their different permutations and combinations. So it is with life. If the life's non-material structure is different, then it can be transformed from one form of life into another, and a human may be transformed into a celestial being or a Buddha. We can regard humans as graphite, while celestial beings and Buddhas as diamonds. If the consciousness of a human is out of order, they will likely devolve towards lower life. If the consciousness of a human is in order, they will likely evolve toward a higher life. I have obtained the secrets of transforming humans into celestial beings and Buddhas, and I am aware of how to do this with self-cultivation and self-refinery. As long as one follows my guidance strictly, they will become a celestial being or a Buddha and reach the high-level space of life. This is assured.
若无报应，则无天理。
If there is no retribution, there will be no natural law. Xiefeng, January 30th, 2019. Translated by Yu and edited by Care. What is natural law? Natural law is the set of operational laws and principles of the universe and is the reward and punishment mechanism of Tao for all lives. What is retribution? Retribution is the set of rewards and punishments given by natural law according to each life's thoughts, words, and deeds. Is there natural law? This depends on whether there is retribution. If there is no retribution, then natural law does not exist. But if there is retribution, then there definitely is natural law. To know whether there is retribution, we have to analyze, sort out, summarize, verify, and judge from the ups and downs of human society, the rise and fall of each nation, and the joys and sorrows of each individual. We can also analyze and summarize the history and actual facts of each family and draw our own conclusions. If you find that there is indeed retribution, then you must follow natural law and not violate it. But if you find there is no retribution, then you can do whatever you want. Natural law is shapeless, formless, shadowless, traceless, invisible, intangible, and inaudible. To know whether it exists, we can only perceive, sense, and feel the changes in nature, in human society, and in everyone's status quo. To know natural law by way of retribution is called verification. We can also deduce whether it exists through logical reasoning. For example, if you killed a snake and had no son but then found that most people who killed snakes had no sons either, you could conclude that those who kill snakes generally have no sons. A connection between killing snakes and not having sons could be reached. If you kill a snake, then you will either have no sons or they would be accidents. If this were a common phenomenon, then it would prove that killing snakes is retributive, but if it were not a common phenomenon, then it would prove that there is no retribution for killing snakes and that that retribution does not exist. Another example would be between married couples. As long as the wife's aura exceeds that of her husband's, they will give birth to a daughter, but if the husband's aura surpasses that of his wife's, then they will give birth to a son. The formation of this aura correlates to the degree of love and respect that each person has toward their partner. If the wife's degree of love and respect is low, then her aura will be strong and daughters will be born. But if her degree of love and respect is high, her aura will be low and sons will be born. In the same way, if the husband's respect for his wife is low, his aura is strong, and then they will bear sons. But if his respect is high and his aura is weak, then they will bear daughters. Whether this principle is true or not needs to be verified from a large number of cases. If facts prove that this principle is true, then it proves that retribution exists, Otherwise, retribution does not exist. Due to their lack of experience, young people do not understand retribution, so it requires older people to tell them about it, and that if it exists, then people must be careful not to talk, act, eat, go, or think indiscriminately, otherwise there will be retribution. Once it is proven that natural law exists, then we should follow it because if we do so, we will get its corresponding retribution, but if we do not follow it, then we get the corresponding retribution for not following it. For example, I see a phenomenon in cyberspace that no matter who you are or what you post, you will always be scolded. If you are sincere and have good intentions, then you will be scolded. If you publicize Jesus or Buddha, then you will be scolded. If you promote the goodness of communism, then you will be scolded. If you respect your ancestors, then you will be scolded. If you speak from your heart honestly, then you will be scolded. If you spread truth, goodness, beauty, love, faith, and sincerity, then you will be scolded. No matter what you say, there will always be someone out there who is ready to scold you. Even gods, Buddha, celestials, and saints will be scolded when they appear to preach. This cursing is so harsh that it brings bitter winds and miserable rains and makes dust and stones fly. It is so harsh that even good people bow their heads, thinkers dare not write articles, and those who want to do good deeds dare not do them. In addition, some people demolish other people's houses with plausibility, drive others out of their homes, add drugs to food, inject fake vaccines into children, cheat people out of money, dump garbage into rivers, and so forth. They are very aggressive. But you do not need to worry because if the existence of natural law is proven, then retribution will surely come. Natural law cannot be controlled by anyone. No matter who they are subject to its rewards and punishments. Otherwise, millions of the Ming Dynasty imperial family would not have been killed. All 10 clans of Feng Xiaoru's family would not have been killed because of implication. Emperor Chongzhen would not have hanged himself. Ceausescu would not have been shot, and Saddam Hussein would not have been hanged. Some retributions appear immediately, some take years, decades, or even longer to manifest themselves. Therefore, when we study and explore whether retribution exists, we should not just analyze, sort out, summarize, and judge by only one event at one time by one person. We need to explore across time and space. If the retribution mechanism is real, then it can be foreseen that the Chinese nation will face a catastrophe. But if there is no catastrophe, then natural law does not exist and people can do whatever they want.
从两张图片思考心灵的温度。
Thinking about the temperature of the soul from 2 pictures. Xiefeng, May 22nd, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Musa. Please look at the following 2 pictures first. They are 2 pictures of the same place. This is the place where I live and work. From the picture we can see that one is a winter scene and the other is an early summer scene. From this we can see clearly that because of the cold weather and low temperature in winter, everything is bleak and the earth is silent. But when the climate is warm, everything will be thriving. The earth will present a scene of vitality. The enlightenment of this phenomenon is that when the temperature of one's spiritual sky is appropriate, one's soul will be full of vitality and creativity, but when the temperature of one's spiritual sky is very low, one's soul will be dead and lack of vitality or creativity. So, what is the temperature of the soul? The spiritual state that measures the strength of a person's mental state, thinking ability, and creative ability is called the temperature of the soul. People with high temperature of soul are flexible, full of enthusiasm, passion, and vitality, and full of creativity, just like the summer of nature, while people with low temperature of soul are sluggish, rigid in thinking and lack of creative ability, just like the winter of nature. The temperature of the soul is composed of and determined by affection, love, and sex. If a person has rich affection, is full of love, and his sex is not suppressed, the temperature of his soul is high. If a person is effectively discouraged, desperate, dejected, and self-abandoned, lack of gratitude, full of resentment to the surroundings, and his nature is suppressed and cannot be released, then the temperature of his soul is low. From the above 2 pictures, we need to warn ourselves that if the temperature of our souls is too low, our lives will fall into poverty and hopelessness. Our lives will be icy without energy and vitality. Therefore, we need to raise the temperature of our souls consciously and let our lives to be colorful and full of energy and infinite hope. just like the changing and colorful sky and earth in the summer. In addition to the temperature of our own inner soul, we also need the temperature of the outside soul. This requires us to consciously participate and devote ourselves to those people who are full of enthusiasm and passion, full of love, full of happiness, joy, freedom, and blessedness, where it can let our lives bloom brilliant shine.